Wearing same clothes day after day. Wearing same clothes day after day. Malt liquor. Doesn't really count though. I've been very fortunate in a couple different regards in order to take lots of time off of work during this last COVID nuttiness and over this last year. And so I'll put these on. I'll go get some malt liquor and take it off. So really, like within the last 3 or 4 days, I've worn this maybe like 45 minutes. Malt liquor. So last year, a COVID update. It's been interesting because at first I was scared because some of the things that we're all learning about the effects that COVID has when you get it. Some of the effects I believe we're probably not going to know fully for a long time from now. Like it's kind of like people who get sick and then later develop something else. Like one thing leads to another. I think it's going to be something like that. The effect on me personally, other than taking a ton of time off work, which has been expensive since it's unpaid. God, I know some people that get paid to not work. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. There were some people that were like resentful of it, and I'm like, but you do it, right? You know, like if I gave you a ton of money and just say like, hey man, just go do what you want. Like you'd say, no, don't give me the money. I'd rather go do my food prep job at 3 a.m. and chop endless amounts of chicken. It's weird to me when people resent something good happening to someone else. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think it's good to get paid not to go to work. But it's like if there's something happening that like you like or would admire, like just because you can't have it doesn't make it a bad thing. I never understood that. I kind of naturally like spent a lot of time alone. I didn't used to be like that, but like when I started doing more alone things, I started accomplishing things in my life that were that I don't that literally no one else would have wanted to do with me, and they were some of the best moments of my life. And now that I'm older, like I'm not doing less of these jumping on train cars and doing crazy stuff like that. More just like chilling at home, playing epic amount of video games, having money for like video games, that kind of thing. Having money for a computer. Oh, so that's been good. A lot of time alone's been good. Though, like when I met up with my friend recently and we had lunch, I was just talking 1,000 miles a minute. So I mean, obviously, like I can't do without social interaction, no matter what I think, because the second I got around my friend, I'm like, blah, 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 like I was just excited to say stuff. Um, there's some drawbacks, like my exercise level's gone through the floor. Not exercising, eating too much, drinking too much. Like, so that's a negative. I know lots of people did projects around the house, and I've done some things, but not much. Nothing really to like where you look and say like, oh, that's what happens when you spend like 7 days and just really work on it. I've got another friend that will wake up and start working on a project in their house, and they only stop for eating, and then they stop because it's evening time. They're like, all right, that's enough for the day. I'm like, it's incredible how much this person gets done. And the results are amazing. That much work and focus is amazing. Oh, some negatives I've seen happening to other people. Um, I think that a lot of people are pushed. A lot of people haven't been able to work, or a lot of people have like they're in a relationship and one of their, like, the boyfriend could work or the girlfriend could work or the husband or the wife or whatever, and then the effect it has on that person, like, because they're not bringing home any income and they're relying 100% on another person, and how that makes them feel about themselves. um, I remember I didn't make very much money once, and I had a girlfriend that made lots of money, and we lived together and we split everything 50-50, and that the 50-50 thing pretty much just absorbed all my income. And she wanted me to continue to, like, take her out for dinners and stuff like that. And, like, so, like, I've had two girlfriends do this. And I'm like, I've got enough for a budget for like one night a week to go out, eat one night a week, 4 times a month. And that wasn't good enough for her, but she didn't want to pay to go out to eat. She wanted me to figure out a way to go get like a second, and I actually did with one girlfriend. I went and got two more jobs. Um, she's like, you got to be taking me out a couple times a week. For her, it was the thing. Like, she wanted to tell her friends, oh yeah, we tried, Xavier's barbecue place. Earl took me. Like, it was the two things. Like, where did we go, and that I took her. She, like, I get in her mind, like I was feeling bad about myself because I couldn't afford the lifestyle that my girlfriend wanted, and that was the lifestyle that she wanted for herself. She didn't want to tell her friends. She'd feel bad about herself if she took me out to dinner. Like, if I took her out once and she took me out 3 times, she wouldn't want to tell her friends that. Like, maybe she thought her friends would think less of her choice of a boyfriend. If she's like, well, I had to, I make like 3 times what Earl makes, and so it makes sense that, since I love going out to eat, he doesn't, that I pay for it. It makes me laugh because, like, sometimes I look back on some of my relationships and I just wonder, like, what, like, no amount of communication is going to get past someone's idea of how things should be. Like, you just can't say, like, listen, I just don't make as much money as you do. I make enough money for a reasonable lifestyle. You make enough money for kind of a crazy lifestyle. So do your friends. They're all professionals. Um, some of them are doing really good in their field. They go to exotic locations for vacations. Exotic locations for vacations. Um, and, like, keeping up with those Joneses, like you have to, like, if you're capable of it, you should do it. You shouldn't be like, like, you shouldn't be like, I can't do that because then it would be me spending the money. Bizarre. Yeah, no amount of communication gets past that preconceived idea of how things should be, like the fantasy. Ah, I've often wanted to know what happened to those two as well. Like, they both had like this really clear idea of what kind of guy that they wanted, and I wonder if they got that guy. I hope they did. Oh, I like wearing a mask everywhere. One of the things that I struggle with is I can't disguise my expression very well, and I could try to wear an expression uh, of, like, polite attentiveness, but it becomes a frozen mask. And so, like, when you wear a mask, like, I could actually feel my face, like, run through gambits of emotion. And there's the other thing too about wearing sunglasses. Like, um, I'm start. I don't consider myself an eye roller, and and we'll go back to another girlfriend thing. I really think the vast majority of my life experiences have not been with, like, it's like I see friends occasionally. Like it just that seems good for me. Um, but like the vast majority of my one-on-one over long periods of time has been with a girlfriend. So a lot of times it's like a lot of times that's where my mind goes when I think about um, like social interactions or whatnot. Oh, but one of my girlfriends was like, "Don't roll your eyes at me," and I'm like, "Did I roll my eyes?" And she'd go, maybe I was trying not to roll my eyes." I didn't think I was an eye roller until I started wearing a mask and sunglasses, and now I roll my eyes all day long. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, fuck, 11 minutes. Um, I was reading Ask Anthropology, I think, on Reddit. I can't remember what it was, but it was like someone said, like, I think people are getting stupider, essentially. And someone said, "You really think now is where people are getting stupider?" And a bunch of people got on board. They're like humanity, people are stupid, and epically stupid, and amazingly stupid. And there's more of us, maybe higher concentrations of us. You might get exposed to more of them, but there aren't more of them, like percentage wise. Um, and it's not even that there's more safety things involved in society now, so more of them are surviving. It's not that either. Poor Aquila. But I also think that like right now, like a huge amount of humanity is going through stressful times, and if you're struggling, if you're struggling in life and during COVID and shutdowns and not working and all the things that could happen in your life, that's going to make it even difficult for you to do simple things like going to get bread and milk. On top of having the money for bread and milk, um, interacting with people in traffic and in the parking lot and in the store, and coming home to your place, your apartment or whatever, your neighbors and things like that. Everything gets a little bit more difficult when things get more difficult. Quote me on that, malt liquor. This kind of reminds me, like, I've always wanted to do 1 month of doing a video every single day, 12, 13 minutes, and I've never made it. There's been times in my life where I was doing like 3 videos a day, but even then I couldn't do a video every day of the month. I could have cheated, um, but I never made it. No, I never completed the every day of the month challenge. I guess just sometimes, like, there's sometimes where I think that the stuff coming out of my mouth isn't going to help me, you, or anything I'd be wanting to make semi-immortal on in the tubes. There's sometimes literally like when I know that I'm not in a state to say or do anything. The days where there's been days, and I've done it, where I just went back to bed. I called in sick to work and I went back to bed. I'm like, I'm not going to do myself a service by leaving the house right now. I'm going to do everybody a disservice when I interact with them. Which that's what I always like. People always say, like, well, if you're unhappy, working at McDonald's or something like that, go get another job. It's like very few people are getting jobs in places because they wanted to work at McDonald's, or they wanted to work at the gravel quarry or a prison of all places. It's just they go get a job at that gives them the best reward for in a situation that fits their life, that's not too inconvenient. Like, I know people that commute like 30 miles to work. I know people work farther, but that's rare. But I know several people that do 30 miles, and that's just because they're driving to a place where they get the best reward for their time, and so it's worth the sacrifice. But it's not because that's what they want. If I want, I would be exploring my creativity and curiosity And as a byproduct of that, I would be producing things that other people were interested and curious about, so I could teach classes or sell the the product of my imagination. There's something I want to build, and I think I'm going to do it. And I saw someone built it, and people liked it so much that they rent out the thing that this guy built. It's not like an Airbnb. It's something that could be delivered, and like a kind of like a little monument. And like I was thinking, I'd like to do that. It'd be kind of fun to do it, to actually sell to people. Like the whole idea that someone's like, oh, this would be fun to make, and then you make it like an Eiffel Tower. People are like, can I rent that Eiffel Tower and put it in my front yard for a party? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? 16 minutes? Ridiculous.